Something is afoot at the Circle K. Welcome in to the Bro 4 Squad podcast, where we're just a bunch of bros drinking beer and talking movies. This is episode 131. I'm your host, the Mayor, Jeff Hornacek. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight for the movie discussion. And before we get started, let's go around and meet the fellow bros. First, we go into the lab to the mad scientist, Brian Banner. Banner, you had quite the setup, as usual, for Halloween this year. Can you describe to the people what someone would have seen this year had they dared to walk by your house where the lab is located?
Well, a shotgun and 3 hookers, but that's just has nothing to do with Halloween.
That's just a normal Tuesday.
Yeah. So in the past we've had the dog dressed as a pirate and the giant inflatable spider. Mm-hmm. And we added this year a pumpkin, a bat, and a baby Yoda holding a jack-o'-lantern that is cut out like a stormtrooper. So that's
Baby Yoda merchandise is not cheap either, so I can imagine.
It wasn't that bad. It was only like $30.
Really?
Yeah, I was shocked.
Not too shabby.
They have a Christmas one too that I think we're gonna get.
Why not?
But see, it doesn't go with our dinosaur theme though, so I don't know if I can pull the trigger.
Baby Yoda kind of looks like a dinosaur though, a little bit.
Yeah.
He also kind of looks like Yoda.
All right, next we go to the American hero, Nate Thurmond. Nate, the people at home don't know, but you threw quite the Oktoberfest soiree this year. Can you describe it to them, and how big were the sausages?
I'll address the sausages first. I don't kiss and tell, so I'm not going to address it, actually. But yeah,
I'll address it by not addressing it.
Yeah, ipso facto. I'm a cocksman. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. That whole deal. But yeah, me and Miss Thurman were talking a month or so ago, and we were like, people don't throw Oktoberfest parties. Like, Cinco de Mayo, great. Okay, you got the other celebrations. You'll do like Friendsgiving and things like that. You don't see people, or I've never attended an Oktoberfest party here in the States. I haven't attended one overseas either, but just saying here, you don't see them. And we're like, we need to break that trend. So hopefully this will be a annual thing, because we went all out, dressed up. And Horns was even one of the ones who came over in attire with his German garb on. So it was great.
I'll definitely get a couple uses out of those suspenders, for sure. Been getting a lot of compliments on it.
I feel like suspenders are underrated. And maybe it's just because I'm getting older. I don't know.
Are they the real hero, or is the belt the real hero?
Oh, man, that's a great question. I'm kind of sad that society switched to the belt, if I'm being honest. Because the options, that's a whole nother pod.
And then I think here's the thing. Hands.
Belts are great if you don't plan on eating. Because they're either too big or they're too small. I mean, suspenders can fluctuate with you.
And most of the time, I plan on eating. So.
Yeah. Can we do the suspenders under the shirt? Is that an idea?
That's a deal breaker for me.
Yeah, I don't know. You gotta flaunt it.
Yeah, we look like fucking Andy Bernard when he ran the
just bleeding
the fun run.
Yeah.
The chafing he's like literally like athletically taping cotton balls on his
balls on there.
So, all right, speaking of nipples, if you've not listened to our show before, we start every episode off with the most important thing in any bro's life, nipples. And that is chest day. And as you can tell by the title of this episode, today we are settling in a debate that no one has been waging ever, but needs to be discussed. What are the best Disney Channel original movies, or DCOMs as they are affectionately referred to? Now, especially around the holidays like October, Halloween, and then Christmas, Disney has always had a penchant for putting out fun, original content on the Disney Channel, and it inspired us to revisit some of the OG DCOMs, as the internet calls them, and crown them both for their successes and shame some of them for their failures. So before we get to what these lists are comprised of, I do think it's worth noting that these lists are compiled by 3 people born roughly between 1987 and 1989, so the newer stuff from Disney will probably not be represented, although I know, Banner, you're a little more cultured than the rest of us, so consider it sort of the millennials rankings of the Disney Channel original movies.
Which, let's be honest with ourselves, that's the only one that really matters, right?
Agreed. I don't think. I mean, it was the heyday of the DComs.
Who
So
runs the world? Millennials.
that is the song. Yeah.
It's not
So
wrong.
Bader, since you were really the brains behind these lists, can you tell the people our 3-2-1 methodology for the rankings that we put together?
Yeah, so a few days ago, Jeff approached me and said, "Hey, chess day, we got to figure something out." I said, "Well, why are we talking about it? It's only Monday." And he said, "Okay, I'll come back to you in a couple of days." So he came back to me and he said, "All right, how about we do our favorite Disney Channel original movies?" I said, "I like it, but let's make it better. We're going to do a 3-2-1 method, kind of like ribs. We're going to go our top 3 Disney Channel original movies. And then I don't remember. Did we decide 2 underrateds and 1 overrated, or 2 overrateds and
Too overrated.
And
2
one.
overrateds and 1 underrated?
Yes.
And
Thank
I've
you
ranked
for
mine in
checking the show
order.
notes.
I'm hoping you guys ranked yours in order as well. If not, maybe we can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mine are. It depends on how I'm feeling, or kind of interchangeable.
Well, I mean, they're written down, not in order, but I know what order I want.
Your head knows the order.
My head knows the order.
Yeah, so we'll do our 3 favorites, 2 that are overrated, and then of course an underrated one. And I have a few honorable mentions that I'll pop in along the
We
way.
have to have honorable mentions.
Yeah. Now, Nate, before we get to our list, I just kind of want to let you go first here on a round robin. Let the people know to you what makes/made the Disney Channel original movies great growing up. Because I remember that little commercial where the kid was like jumping on the trampoline. And it was like, up next, a Disney Channel original movie. And when you saw that kid do the kick splits, you knew shit was about to get fucking real on a Thursday night.
Yeah, I mean, they did a great job of really playing into like a lot of different, not genres, but a lot of different topics for kids that were popular for kids. And like the things that really stuck out to me, and you'll obviously see kind of in my rankings here, are like the extreme sports things that were really cool. Like I never was huge, like I never went down like half pipes or anything, but like I had like skates growing up and a BMX bike, and I would like jump off shit all the time. So like all that kind of stuff appealed to me. So you've got all the, I'm not going to spoil our list yet, but you've got like all the ones out there that are into sports and like into the extreme sports, and you know which ones we're talking about. But then I mean you also have other ones that are into technology and different topics, so they covered a lot of things, and so they could grab your interest on a lot of different levels. So they appealed to like every kid's fantasy, which was great.
Yes, totally agree. Banner, how about you? What about the DComs really resonated with you as a kid?
So first of all, I never got jacked until you see the star of the show or just some kid do the little wand thing and make the Mickey ears.
Fuck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you know, all right, let's fucking go. And yeah,
I saw the Pornhub video where he does it. He makes a big dick.
I think I was just on the Disney Channel. I don't think that was even Pornhub. That was.
Oh yeah, that was after 11 p.m. That's right.
Shit gets real crazy after 11.
Vanessa Hudgens, right?
Okay.
Was that inappropriate? I don't think that was inappropriate.
Oh, we said way worse things on here.
I kind of echo what Nate said. You never, I mean, obviously you know from the commercials, but you kind of never know what you were going to get. They kind of hit everything. They hit female leads. They hit male leads. They had technology. They had sports. They had off the wall stuff. They had crippled children.
That's one way to put it.
I mean,
just bluntly. I mean, yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
I mean, they did.
At the end of the day, they're all fun, good stories.
I think I'll just sort of combine the two of yours. Like Nate said, the Disney Channel original movies, they knew their demographic. Obviously, it was like young teens or like preteens. And so it was just cool to see in every single, I'm pretty sure every single Disney Channel original movie, maybe sans like one, we are the representation on screen. Like it's always a like 10 to 14 or 15-year-old going through some social dilemma. And then, as Nate said, sort of mix it with genre. So whether it was like a fantasy element or like a mystery element or like a pseudo science fiction, it was always someone our age that we could relate to going through some sort of coming of age or like something we would deal with socially in a really cool kind of like a Disney spin. Because to my knowledge, and maybe I'm wrong, but there's not a Disney Channel original movie where it's like dinosaurs or like a 91-year-old guy reminiscing about the Vietnam War. You know, it's all
God,
like it's all like kids that we would and could relate to, and that's I think what resonated with me because it was stories told to us. We were pigs to slop, basically. They knew what we wanted to see and they gave it to us.
For sure. Yeah, we drank it up.
All right, let's start arguing. So we'll start with our top three Disney Channel original movies. How about we each go around and do our number three, and then we'll count down 2 to 1. Nate, why don't you start us first? What is your third favorite Disney Channel original movie of all time?
Gotcha. So a lot of these are off of memory of watching them 10 to 15 years ago. A few of these I have watched recently with Disney Plus coming out. I'd like to revisit and reminisce about some things. But third on here would be, for me, The Luck of the Irish. So that was a really great one. Actually need to go back and rewatch that one. I hope it's not on anyone's overrated. And I think it's just kind of a middle of the road for most people. But having some Irish blood in me, I kind of like, oh, cool. Movie about a kid who's Irish. All right, cool, awesome. And he plays basketball and all this kind of stuff. But
That's where the kid has like the family medallion and he like can't
Yeah.
miss a shot if he's wearing it.
yeah, he's got the luck of the Irish.
And the leprechaun guy in it is actually the priest from Wedding Crashers, who Vince Vaughn is like pouring the tumbler of scotch for.
Yeah. Yeah, you have a way better memory than me. I know I liked it, and that's why it stuck with me. But I really need to go back and revisit that one because I know that's one of the ones that stuck out over any of the other ones that I had seen in the past. But yeah, that's number 3 for me.
It's a very solid pick. Anytime the
Yeah.
DComs incorporated sports of some kind, it added an extra level of
It
interest for me.
automatically put it on a pillar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you remember that show, The Jersey, that they had? How fucking cool was that show?
I
The
do
Jersey.
remember that.
It sounds
It was
familiar.
It was like a kid's version of Coach. You guys remember that show?
Yeah,
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
sort of. But remember, The Jersey was where they would put on the old jersey and they would become a pro athlete?
Oh, that's right. It's nothing like Coach.
Yeah, that's why I was a little
I
confused.
was about to
Like,
say, I was like, I like Coach, and I remember it. I don't know if it's like
I
Jersey.
guess in the sense that they're both shows.
Yeah.
And they have sports terms in them.
Yeah.
So I'm not wrong.
Where the similarities in,
Well-
though. Luck of the Irish, solid pick, Nate, at number
Yeah.
3. Banner, how about you? What's your third favorite DCOM of all time?
Third favorite. Might get a little flack for that. I'm going to go High School Musical here.
No? No
Why would
problem.
you get flagged for that?
Because it should be higher.
Oh,
It's a tough to top, man. I know you're a big Kenny Ortega guy.
I am a big Kenny Ortega guy. I think this is his second most successful movie, but obviously it's his most successful franchise. I think Hocus Pocus, which is another Kenny Ortega directed movie, I think it might be a better movie, maybe.
What was his involvement again? Because I know he had
Probably.
some with the show.
He, I think, is an EP on it.
Okay. I knew he had some creative involvement,
Yeah, and I think he might have done some of the choreography,
of course.
but I'm not positive on that. But yeah, High School Musical, it's globally and what it did culturally, this is the biggest DCOM there is, right?
Oh, man.
I mean, it spawned
yeah, I
a
would think
feature
so.
film. It also spawned a television show, a wildly successful, at least here on the Broforce Squad, successful show.
at least in our small bubble.
Which is really the only
the
land.
only one
That's
that
all we
matters.
care about, though. So fuck you guys.
Yeah.
I know at least 2 people who watch it, so how many more references do you need? But Banner, it's funny because Kenny Ortega, like if you look at the rest of his filmography, he's like not a serious filmmaker in the sense that like he makes like, you know, films with a lot of levity and fun to them. But you could watch High School Musical from either lens, where it's like basically a parody of musicals and it's still fun, or you could take it really seriously and in a weird way it's like more fun.
Yeah, 100%.
And the
And
music,
I think it didn't make tonight's list. I know I'm jumping the gun, but I think underrated High School Musical 2.
that movie's
Honorable mention.
The third one's really good, but the second one sucks.
Well, fuck you. I think the
Egg
second
on your
one's good.
face.
Second one's got some fucking bangers in it, so check yourself.
The first and third bangers are like dwarf the second one.
Whatever. I don't like the third one. I think third one sucks. Senior year, please.
I'm sorry that they have to grow up. Jesus Christ, Peter Pan. Good choice. Can't knock High School Musical being on the list. My number three, I think, might just surprise you guys because it's low-ish. But I'm gonna go with Brink. Obviously, the movie Brink, coined the term soul skaters and taught us, which Ronnie Cycli is at home nodding his head in agreement, that if you ever do anything you love and get paid for it, you're a total piece of shit.
Sell out.
Yeah. You have to only do things you enjoy for free. There's no way that you can work hard and also get paid for it.
Yeah, Cycli only does pro bono lawyer work.
Correct. Yeah, he inherited a large sum of money from an old neighbor of his, and that's what pays his bills. So Brink is up there. I'm sure one of you guys will probably bring it up at another point in the show. If not, we can just briefly discuss it at the end. But a lot of things about Brink are great, and on a rewatch, it actually holds up pretty well. Eric Von Detten, also great fucking 90s name for an actor.
Mm-hmm.
He's Sid from Toy Story, too.
He is. Anytime you have three names in your name, that's like so 90s.
Jonathan
And
Taylor
that's
Thomas.
bullshit because on
Classic.
you automatically get an extra word in essays growing up. I was always jealous of that.
They count your name?
Who counts their name?
Yeah. I always counted my name, but that's probably why I got D's on everything.
You got it's not in the essay.
It's on the essay.
Do you count the date you put on there too?
Banner, you're like
the teacher's name for the
Banner's
room.
middle school teachers are listening and they're like, we didn't count the name, dude. All right. Number two, let's just go back around. Nate, what is your second favorite Disney Channel original movie?
My second favorite is High School Musical. We're going to go kind of around the horn on some of these, I'm sure, and revisit. But yeah, High School Musical is great. And yeah, I think Banner touched on it briefly, like the cultural impact and how it spawned into two other movies, into a TV show, which the TV show was surprisingly phenomenal. And I think it really can play into the effect that Horns was saying. Like, you can watch it ironically, or you can watch it and be like, no, this is actually legit. Like, they're legit a musical, and they're doing a great job at producing these songs and all this stuff. And like, it's weird because either way is fine, and either way you can really enjoy the show, which I really didn't even think about until you mentioned that. But
here's
it makes
a challenge.
Total sense.
Try and watch High School Musical and not have fun. It's impossible. It doesn't matter how you're watching it. You're going to start to bob your head a little or tap your foot to the music. You're going to laugh at some of the stupid jokes and the corniness of it, but it all works.
You're going to bop to the top is what you're really going to do. And to Nate's point, I really tried to hate the show. Like, I actively tried to dislike it.
I didn't want to like the show.
I couldn't do it. I just ended up liking it too much.
And I really hope some of the kids in there, they had some good, like, young actors in that show.
Yeah.
Like, I know that we're talking about the movies, but like what it springboarded to, like, I hope they go on to some good things. And then just like, I mean, the songs will get stuck in your head from the original, and they're just
got to get your head in the game.
So iconic.
Don't be afraid to shoot the outside, Jay. I actually have that tattooed on my back.
He does.
Yeah, Nate's seen it. I'm not even going to try to act like I don't have at least 3 of the songs on my in my iTunes.
Oh yeah, they're bangers. They pop out at parties every once in a while.
Bangers gonna bang.
Bangers gonna bang. But yeah, solid number 2.
Good pick, Nate. All right, Banner, how about you? What's your number 2 favorite DCOM?
Number 2 taught me how to be a soul skater. But at the same time, defend a villain? Is he that wrong?
Dude, we could do a great defend a villain of Team X-Blade.
Oh, probably, yeah.
I'm just saying.
First off, their gear was fucking sick.
So I loved the black and yellow.
Their warehouse,
so much better than
the
Team Pup
ramps
and
and everything. Man, they were legit.
The warehouse was like if the foot soldiers and the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle had like a rich dad who bought them a place to hang out in.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to know the backstory on X-Blades and like how they built up and how they got their equity and all that kind of stuff. Like being a little bit older, that's what I want to know about.
I'd watch a prequel or a mini series on that.
like a mockumentary on how it was developed.
Yeah, you're like, where's this nest egg come from that the Team X-Blade's sitting on? Whose uncle died and was like part of the Smucker's jelly fortune?
Yeah, they've got the coach there who's just like a hype man, but there's someone else behind him that's fronting the money.
Also, how many like slicky suits did they have? Like like slicky shirt and slicky shorts.
Oh yeah.
Like it's like a suede kind of.
Yeah, just
Yeah, it's like the I don't know how to describe it, like the starter zip up things.
it's called pussy bait, is what it's called.
Yes, panty droppers is I believe what those jackets were called.
Yeah, and again on a rewatch recently, Brink holds up, guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
Also, Zach from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is in it. His character is a pretty big catalyst to the plot.
He really is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Kind of, we can almost say the whole movie revolves around him.
All out.
What's your two, Horns?
My number 2 is a movie called Genius. I don't know if you guys remember this.
I vaguely remember it.
This is like the first time I could remember seeing on film a version. So obviously, like growing up, there was this weird trope that like being smart was something to be ashamed of. Mm-hmm. Like if you were intelligent, oh man, there's no way you could be intelligent and be affable and have like a large social circle at school. And Genius was about this kid who basically gets the ability to sort of compartmentalize his personality. He's obviously a genius, but then he also wears a leather jacket and is like the cool kid in school because of some experiment that he does where he's able to channel both. And then at the end, he realizes, sorry, spoilers for the movie Genius, that really there was no partition in his personality. He was the same guy the whole time. He had the ability to do this. But I just remember it being really weird because he lives under a hockey rink, and I don't remember why.
I do remember that because, like, his invention or something is what the only way to keep it cold enough was to be under the hockey rink, and he melted the hockey rink, right?
Yes.
Oh god, I'm looking up pictures of this. It's all coming back to me now. Yes.
I remember this one.
I don't remember. I'd almost rather just guess at the plot, but I don't remember how he melts the hockey rink, but I do remember.
He's like Richie Rich Light.
Basically. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
But again, the plot twist at the end is like just be yourself because this kid actually was himself the whole time, and he was able to be both intelligent and have a large social group and be like well liked in school. So
the same theme in Brink, be yourself.
So he was smart and got pussy?
Yes. And
I mean he was 12, so
it's obviously a fantasy.
It's weird because there's 4 sexual encounters he has that are very graphic in the movie, if I remember right. But I like Genius, and going back, like looking at the list of DComs, that was one that I just remember like really enjoying as a kid, and looking back, it probably would be pretty stupid to watch now, but it was like a good message, and it was given to us and presented to us in like really all the DComs are kind of like after school specials that are sort of remixed to where they're presentable to kids our age.
Oh, for sure.
All right, our number 1 favorite DCom, Nate, what do you got?
All right, here we go. Back for a third time. We're going with Brink for my number 1 overall.
It's 3, 2, 1. I love it.
Yeah, and I know you guys said still holds up on the rewatch, which it does. And this was legit the first thing I watched when Disney Plus came out earlier this year.
Awesome.
Turned it on and was like, hell yeah, we got to go back to Brink. And I think out of all the other things that it may have taught us is if you're trying to do something, you just got to do it better. You got to skate better.
Skate better. Great coaching.
Better.
That's like when we yell at the TV, like, catch the fucking ball.
Yeah, shoot the ball better. Kick the ball better. I mean, how can you argue with that?
Putt better.
If you do that, if you do putt better, you will play better. I mean, it's
correct.
It's gold.
I shouldn't have to spell it out for you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, that was one of my favorite growing up, and I'm glad it still holds up, and the rewatches are still great.
And do you guys remember like scrolling or like watching the TV Guide channel and waiting for the Disney Channel to come up and go, what Disney Channel original movie is coming on tonight? God. And every time it was Brink, I would just flip shit.
Remember not knowing what was going to be on TV?
It's such
barely.
I mean, it's.
Do you remember when you actually had to watch commercials of things?
That's true. But back to Brink, to Nate's point, like I'm not going to say I was like into extreme sports, but in middle school, I did a lot of rollerblading. And I think that's another reason why Brink resonated with me so much. I was like, dude, this is really just the confirmation I need that I am fucking cool, because I took the brake off of my rollerblade, and yes, I crash into the fence every time I come into my cul-de-sac, but it looks fucking cool when I show it to my next door neighbor.
Yeah, me and my dad built a little quarter pipe that we put at the end of the driveway, and I pulled off a couple 540s off there. No big deal. It's
Guilty
whatever.
as charged.
Yeah, okay. And then I try and ramp my bike off of it, and that didn't work out well. But
No.
to each
By the
their
way,
own.
it is kind of funny though that again, watching Brink, like he literally does all he does is get paid to do the same thing he's already doing, and you're watching it and you're like, you're a piece of shit, man.
Yeah, and now you're like, that sounds awesome.
It makes total sense. Like his friends are just jealous as fuck.
Yeah,
Keep friends.
stupid hippies.
Yeah, I mean Brink in all of our lists, no surprise. I tried to put it up higher, but again, when you hear my number one, I have a good defense for it. I feel like Banner, what's your number one favorite?
You're gonna hate it, and this might be the first fight we have. Smart House.
Ooh.
All I would say to that is, and maybe this will be egg on my face, but when was the last time you rewatched it?
I actually watched it when Disney Plus came out. We went through a decom phase. We watched Brink. We watched Smart House. We watched Johnny Tsunami, Xenon. We went through a lot of them. Guys, Smart House is like 3 years away from being a documentary.
That's true.
Okay,
Ahead of its time.
fair enough.
And how bad, when you were a kid, did you want a robot house that literally did everything for you? You could throw a party and get away with it every fucking time.
Because it just cleans
100%.
up after you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now-
it cleans up after you. It's got your back when you come home late. I was a big fan of Smart House. I loved it.
Understandable. Now, yes, the theory behind all that is great. Does the technology in there and the promise of a better life at home with the technology, does that constitute a good movie, though?
I think that the
No.
story and the idea of exploring that and watching it play out on screen is fun. And look, all he wants to do is get some pussy at the end of the day.
Well, hold on.
And if you got to use
This is your
Smart
number
House to
one?
get some pussy, yeah, it's my number one. I love Smart House.
I think, Banner, I agree with everything conceptually. It was cool, but when you go back
Yes.
and rewatch it, there's just the decom list. There's just too many more competently made movies that this one just for me couldn't even sniff my top three. Again, it's your list, and I respect your choice, but you're wrong. And I
Now
hate
it's your list. I'm not going to say I respect your choice. I'm not going to say I disrespect it either. But yes, to Horns' point, everything you mentioned is great about the movie, but you haven't.
So
mentioned,
what's not great about it?
The
we'll get to
movie.
that. We'll get to it.
correct me if I'm wrong, though. I think the kid in that is also the kid in For Luck of the Irish,
You are
Yeah.
correct.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
which is I kind of do love the theme of the Disney Channel. Like, hey, it's basically like that. We have 4 kids on retainer. Let's just recycle them through our. What's the next script we have?
Well, and then they started taking their characters from their shows and putting them in movies.
Yeah, which when I was looking at some of these movies, there was like the Lizzie McGuire movie was in theaters, so it didn't really count here. And I think there was another one, obviously High School Musical 3. So there's a few that like were like in a gray area. And the Hannah Montana movie, I believe, was also in theaters.
Yeah, I didn't count those. Although that movie sucks.
All right, my number one is.
Let's move past that.
We don't have time to get into Hannah Montana tonight. We only have about an hour, 15 minutes. The movie Quince.
Ooh.
So
That was
this movie
close.
is maybe the like surface level sounds ridiculous, but actually going back and rewatching it, it hits the gut pretty hard. So the girl from Halloweentown obviously is
Okay,
the main
yeah.
character in it.
Mhm.
And the story is that her parents are having quintuplet children. So she is about, I think, 13 or
I was
14.
gonna say she's like 13, 14, right?
Yeah, and she is going to be the sister to quintuplets. And the movie's presented like, oh, this wacky deal our family's going through. They're like town famous. They're in the newspaper. She's having, 5 siblings being born. But really, the movie, as it kind of gets into it, is about, at the same time of her coming of age, she's realizing that she is kind of losing her identity and her sense of self in the, like, am I forever going to be known just as the girl who has quintuplets, siblings? You know, like, who am I outside of this event? Who am I, period? And that may sound more serious than you originally remembered the movie, but when I rewatched it, I was like, dude, this is kind of like a gut punch movie. Like, she has a real hard time dealing with, like, do I basically have to be a mom, like pseudo mom, helping my parents at the age of 14 when I really just want to be a kid and figure out who I am in the world. And as the movie goes on, it sort of doesn't shy away from that subject matter, which the DComs, like, as an actual 13-year-old myself, when I watch it, I didn't even realize what the fuck the message was. But when you go back and revisit it, I think as an actual movie, it is far and away the best Disney Channel original movie. Is it the most fun? Definitely not. But if we're talking about like a real movie slash film, I don't think anything can touch Quince. And that's why I put it as my number one.
That's a very deep and thoughtful review.
I still think you're wrong, but whatever.
You have nothing to back that up, Banner.
Don't need to. He didn't like Smart House, so fuck him.
This is one of
If Smart House is bad, then Quince is bad too. I'm just saying.
This is definitely one I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch because I'm pulling up some stuff on it, and this happens with all these Disney ones. Like, I'll pull up, oh shit, I'll like see like still frames from it and be like, oh yeah, that's like coming back to me.
And I don't know if this was mentioned in the
movie.
Mrs. Thurmond would like it too if she doesn't remember it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, she loves all the Disney ones, so I don't have to twist her arm to watch any of these. But I don't know if this was mentioned in the movie, but just on the Wikipedia page, for whatever reason, like, it has the names of the Quince, like the five babies. Do you know, like, a little weird thing about their names?
I don't. Please tell me, because I don't remember that at all.
So I just read them as like Adam, Becky, Charlie, Debbie, and Eddie. So it's A, B, C, D, E.
Oh God. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, sometimes the DCOM can't get out of its own way. Like, you don't have to do that. Just fucking relax. Name them normal. Like, but that's where, like, the DCOM almost fools you into thinking it's stupider than it is, because it does have a good message. But again, it's sort of presented in this like wrapping paper of like, hey, you don't have to take it that seriously if you don't want to. You think the whole time it's going to be like her quintuplet siblings like peeing on her face, but it gets more serious than that.
Yeah. And to your point on that, we didn't touch on it too much, but because we mentioned it 3 different times, but Brink, I mean, it still has that good message in there. Just be like, be a good person, be wholesome, be true to yourself.
Yes.
Even though you should get paid for doing shit you're good at. But anyway.
And I think every DCOM at some level, regardless of the packaging it's in, has that somewhere in there. It's just sometimes it may get so lost in the Disney-ness that it's sort of hard to sift through.
Yeah.
All right.
Solid number 1.
Any honorable mentions? I had written down High School Musical, but I mean, we've kind of talked ad nauseum about it. I just wanted to give it a shout out. I do really enjoy the movie. I think, sort of to Banner's point, it might be the most rewatchable of any movie that I even looked at on this list.
Other than Smart House, I agree.
I had like an honorable mention that I was kind of like messing around with. I deleted it from my list. I can't think of what it was.
I would guess, but I'm afraid it might come up on one of your other lists later.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that my underrateds are honorable mentions for a top movie.
Sure. Very fair. All right, on to our 2. Those are the 3. Now let's get to the 2. Our 2 most overrated DComs. Let's go not reverse order, but Banner, we'll let you start here. What's your number 2 most overrated Disney Channel?
69 it.
Number 2 most overrated, which I don't even know that this is overrated. I just felt like I needed to put it on here because I wanted to talk about how I don't like it. Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off.
Yes.
Don't know if I've seen that one.
You're not missing much.
Which, yeah, you're not compelling me to go watch it, so.
I mean, it's...
Just Google it to look at the poster.
Yeah.
It's basically you've got dad pushes son wants to cook instead of play baseball, but he's good at baseball. At the end, they come to terms and they're best buds again, and he plays in the championship game and bakes the cake with chocolate and orange syrup or some shit like that at the end. And the whole movie is like just them talking about how you can't crack an egg with one hand.
And gets a blowy from the cheerleader in the final scene.
Pretty much, yeah.
Am I not remembering this right? I don't know.
If I remember right in the poster, he's like up to bat, but he also is like swinging a spatula because do you get it? It's combining the 2 things.
I get it. Yeah, I'm trying to. It
I
sounds
just
vaguely familiar, but I'm looking and I'm like, I don't know if I remember
maybe
this.
it was just because of the age that I was at. I didn't really. I mean, I liked to cook, but I didn't know what I was doing. I liked sports, so I was like, why would you not play sports? Instead, you're gonna cook. I just didn't understand it. It didn't resonate with me. I will admit I haven't gone back on a rewatch because why? If
That's
I don't
okay.
like
Yeah.
it, why would I? Uh, so yeah, Eddie's
Can I
Million
say
Dollar
that
Cook-Off.
sort of a trend I'm noticing with DComs is it's all about like these weird, especially like parental figures, forcing their kids into these ultimatums.
Yeah.
Like this or this. There's no way to possibly do both.
As a parent, though, sometimes an ultimatum is the only way to go.
Yeah, but yours are like I don't think on anywhere near as weird as some of the ones we've seen in
Yeah,
this.
no, mine's like you're gonna eat your dinner or you're gonna go straight to bed. Like those are your options.
She's like, "What if I eat my dinner in bed?" You're like, "Fuck,
Well,
that's actually
fuck.
pretty."
God damn it.
Okay, I get it. You found a loophole.
I knew Eddie's Million Dollar Cook-Off would make an appearance somewhere on this list, just didn't know where. And Banner, even though it's not on mine, I do not disagree with most overrated because it's like a sleeper favorite of a lot of people. Like
Yeah, and I just
it
and
bothers.
that was back when like Iron Chef and all those cooking shows were real big. So I get why they made it and it fit the time frame and everything. I just think it sucked.
Yeah. All
And
right, Nate,
Eddie's
what's
a
your
bitch.
well, What's your number two most overrated decom?
Um, number two, overrated is Smart House.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, I know Banner said he had a recent rewatch of it, but I did too. Maybe the second or third one that we watched when Disney Plus came out. Oh my God, the acting is just
It's horrible.
unreal.
Okay, if
Like
we're going off
across the
acting though,
board.
what acting is
That
good
makes a
in
movie.
no, what acting is good in any decom
But
movie?
Banner, we're grading it
Uh,
on a curve, and it's still bad, is what we're saying.
It's
yes,
not bad.
100%. Like it's all over the place. It is not good. And I will say, and like I said was saying earlier, like the premise behind it is awesome, and that's why I loved it growing up and as a kid because I was dumb, and I thought I could watch it because I was like, yeah, that'd be awesome to have all this shit in my house. But no, it's just the acting is super bad, and it wasn't compelling at all.
Well, I think
Unfortunately,
you're still dumb because it's a good movie.
But Banner, it's weird because like I have the exact same criticism. I think it's more so just a compliment to how cool the concept of it was, because everything else about it is atrocious, and still it's like so well regarded by a lot of not well regarded, but like people enjoy it because the concept was really cool.
it's well known as a Disney original movie.
Correct.
Look, the kid wears baggy cargo pants and a flannel button-up shirt unbuttoned.
Fuck, that's
How
cool.
much fucking cooler can you get?
All you have to do now is throw in a puka shell necklace and some hair gel, and we're pretty much set.
Check and check.
Yeah, that's it.
Check and make it. My number two overrated is actually a trilogy of movies, and it's all the fucking Xenon movies. Now, I'll say this, Xenon the sequel, fuck, that's a cool name.
It's a
Like, that's
very
really,
cool name.
because I don't know if you
Very
guys
cool.
get
Good
it,
play on words.
but the word is actually sequel, but because Xenon starts with a Z, what they did was they took,
Oh, is
Jobin.
that what they
yeah,
did?
they took the S and replaced it with
You know, it's taken me 20 years to figure that out.
yeah.
How long has it taken you to talk correctly?
But guys, these movies just never. I mean,
30.
Kristen Storm was hot, but never really. Nothing about them resonated with me. The band Protozoa, they fucked a little bit, but as
They
the
had they were a
iconic,
one-hit wonder though.
totally agree. They were the
Baldwin number
Baha
5,
Men.
one hit wonder. Still love it.
Yeah, they were the Baha Men of the future. But like I've tried rewatching these a couple times, and by tried I mean like they were either on TV or someone had like a little bit of it on, and I can't get through even like a scene of it. They're unwatchable.
The
I
first one was all right. I did a rewatch recently. It was watchable, but yeah, nothing great.
I'm just gonna transition into our number one. Xenon was my number one overrated movie, and franchise, whatever you want to call them. I think Kristen Storm, is that her name?
Yeah,
Right. That's the
full
actress's
name.
name, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she is a phenomenal actress. She's now on
She's
one
on
of the
some
soap
opera.
operas.
Yeah, she's been on it for like 1,000 episodes.
Right, which I think if you are on a soap opera and you could be successful, I think you are a phenomenal actor or actress. But Xenon is just bad. Like, all of it is bad. They didn't get the futuristic living in space right. And maybe that's just because we have such a large sample size of it now.
How did they not get it right? Please show me examples.
They're basically living in like a high school gym.
Also,
What?
the issue I have, she's the girl of the 21st century. We live in the 21st century. So
Do we know what year the first one is in? I'm trying to think. I can't remember.
it better be like 2080 because like
I don't think it's that far ahead.
I don't
that's
think
what I'm saying.
it's
It's like 2025 and it's like
That sounds
absurd.
about right. Yeah.
Because I was singing the song today in front of my fiance and I kept singing "Girl of the 23rd Century" and she was like, "It's 21st century, you dumbass." And I was like, "That makes no sense because the technology they have dwarfs anything we have now." And she's like, "Okay, that actually makes sense." And then we looked it up and I was like, "Yeah, this is absurd."
Yeah, that's interesting.
So either way, I mean that's just a flaw of the movie. But I'm with Banner. Like the concept is kind of cool. Like they could have done a lot with it, but really just like the opposite of Smart House, where like the concept you just lose interest as you watch it because you're like, wow, you're really not going to do anything cool with this, are you?
So
it was overly corny even for a Disney Channel original movie.
And not to be that guy, but horrible costume design. They dress
I
like
can't
fucking
agree more.
weirdos.
Can't agree more.
just for an update on the year 2049.
Oh my god, that's like nothing.
That's not
tomorrow.
that far away.
No.
You're
This
telling
episode
me
might not
I have a
even
chance to
drop.
live in space in, what is that,
28
years?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not telling you that.
Well,
Won't happen.
she wasn't born on Earth, was she?
No, yeah, that's the thing. It's like we
So
have like been
she
in
was
space
thir-
forever.
She wouldn't be able to survive on Earth then if she went
So-
back. We know that from
No.
the space between us.
Well, she like walks down the ramp and she
Wally.
like kind of stumbles though.
Oh yeah, because she's like not used to gravity.
Yeah.
Either that or she was just drunk.
So I mean, yeah, 13 years old, so 2036.
Yeah, it's absurd.
Yeah, is when they're going up there. So crazy. All right,
Next, number one.
me. Hold on. What are we doing again?
Number one most overrated decom.
Yeah, this one. I don't know if I've talked to anyone about this. I don't know how controversial this will be, but this kind of goes along the same lines of Smart House. I just the act.
So it's a great movie.
The concept is great and it's good, but the acting kind of threw me off. And this may be controversial, but Johnny Tsunami on a rewatch recently was not that great. Over the top, corny with like trying to be way too Hawaii and like I don't know Hawaiian culture or anything, but I feel like they were going over the top with it, and I feel like Hawaiian people may be offended by the over the topness of it, and I'm offended. I'm saying that this is overrated because that was, if you would have asked me when I was like 13, this would have been my number one. Well, maybe number two behind Brink, but it would have been way up there. But yeah, on a rewatch, just
Doesn't hold up.
Does not hold up, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We did a commentary on it, right? I wasn't on it.
We did that, and of course, Alley Cat Strike. I don't know if that'll come up on any of these lists, but both of you guys were on that one as well.
I was on Alley Cat Strike. I don't think
Alley Cat Strike is a perfect middle of the road.
Yeah.
You're not mad when it comes on, but you're not looking for it to come on.
That was going to be my honorable mention. I remember. Yeah.
But yeah, I think Nate described Johnny Tsunami perfectly. When I went back and rewatched it, for some reason, none of the things that I remembered working so well were working that well. The guy who plays Johnny Capahala has like the worst screen presence I've ever seen. The only really interesting character in it is the famous Jet Jackson, Lee Thompson Young, and he doesn't even show up to like the 30-minute mark. And then Johnny's grandpa, Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat, who's only in like a combined 7 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, but that's because he's banging his
Johnny's
son's
mom.
wife.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
But interesting point. The character that famous Jet Jackson plays. Love his headgear in it. I had one growing up too.
Yes,
Back in my
the
skiing
urchin.
days. Yeah. I love that thing.
The urchin's fucked.
Yeah.
All right, my number one most overrated movie, and I hate to say this, and I rewatched this very recently, Halloweentown.
Yep, it's an honorable mention. It's probably 3 for me.
Guys, it's
And
really
I
bad.
am probably sleeping on the couch for saying it to my wife.
Here's the issues with Halloweentown.
It
Number one,
sucks.
it's not funny. It's not funny. Banner, would you agree that I know we shit on Xenon. The costumes in this movie are so bad that like our high school theater department would laugh at them.
They make Xenon's costumes look good.
Yes. The story, I remember as a kid thinking it was really kind of creepy and sort of interesting. It is so bland and lame.
Is it really?
Yeah.
They go to a town where just it's Halloween all the time, basically meaning like people are fucking pumpkins and werewolves walk around. It's like there's a lot there. It would be much better as a Goosebumps book than it is as a watered down Disney Channel original movie.
I will say
Since it is
this.
the season, I'll probably go back and watch it just to revisit.
I mean, you have
now
to.
I'm not looking forward to it.
I'll say this: if they remade it, I think there's potential there.
For sure.
I mean, you have to have a new story, but there's something there.
No, this would obviously be outside of, I think, Disney, but what if you remade it darker?
Yes, I think that's what you need to do because the concept could be, I don't know, man. It's everything that like is potentially interesting about it. It feels like the movie sort of like wink, wink, nudge, nudge at you, and I'm like, yeah, but you can't be in on the joke and still have me think it's funny. Like that doesn't make sense. And again, it just
And the little brother is the most annoying character in the history of
he
characters.
fucking sucks. And in the third act, I mean, not that anyone gives a shit, but like when the villain is kind of revealed, you're like, yeah, no shit, dude. Like even for a Disney movie, that was the most telegraphed thing I've ever seen in my life.
As a 12-year-old, I saw it coming a mile away.
Yeah. And it brings me no pleasure in saying that because I really wanted it to be good, especially since it's around Halloween as we're recording this.
Yeah, same thing with Johnny Tsunami. I wanted it to be good, but on the rewatch, not so much.
Yeah.
I
All right.
didn't want Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off to be good.
You've had a deep hatred for that for a while.
I don't like it.
I didn't give it a chance, and I'm glad I didn't. All right, our number one most underrated DCOM. Nate, why don't you go first?
My number one underrated. And I'm not saying this is a fantastic movie. I'm just saying I don't hear people talk about it much, but it is still a good movie. And this kind of plays into like the whole extreme sports thing, but Motocrossed. I thought that was a really fun, really good movie. I was never
Honorable
even
mention over here. I loved it.
Yeah, dirt bike rider, but you know, it was fun. It kind of played on the classic trope of a brother sister switching places, or just a teenage girl switching into a boy spot. But it was really great. I remember vaguely little things about it. It was fun, like throwing in like, oh, her fingernails were painted. Oh yeah, it cuts down on the vibrations on the dirt bike and all this kind of stuff. How they played
Way
that
to think
off.
on your feet. Future
It
content.
was stupid but fun. But that's another one. I'm glad we're doing this because I'm gonna have to make a list of ones to go back and rewatch. But that was one that I enjoy really liking. I remember really liking. I can't talk. And but yeah, I just don't hear too many people talk about it. Gladbander, you said it would have been on your honorable mention.
Yeah, it's actually, if we had done 2 underrateds and 1 overrated, it would have made the list at number 2.
Yeah, it's a solid flick.
Yeah, that's a rock solid one. And again, conceptually, probably one of the more tame, like idea or like more. I don't want to say realistic, but like it's not a stretch to think that could actually happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so on a rewatch, I think that always makes just inherently the buy-ins a little bit easier. Which I'm willing to, suspend disbelief for all these movies. But if you're actually going to ground yourself a little bit, tip of the cap for a DCOM.
No, that's a great point. Yeah, Luck of the Irish, obviously, magic in play, smart house, futuristic house, and all this kind of stuff. So
I mean,
it's a good point. Yeah, it's a very realistic type. What's that banner? One more time.
Smart House. It's an actual house.
Yeah,
It's
no,
real.
we got that part. Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Okay.
All right, Banner. If you can get Smarthouse's dick out of your mouth for like one quick second, what is your most underrated DCOM?
Double Teamed.
I'd consider Double Teamed. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the one. It's actually based on a true story where there are twins that play volleyball. They switch to basketball and end up making it to the WNBA. They play on rival teams. Just You guys know I'm suckers for the based on true events or based on true stories movie. I like to see the dramatization, and then I like to go and read about how off it was and how much I like the dramatization better than what happened in real life.
And obviously, you're a huge WNBA fan as well.
Obviously, yeah.
That's for the fan to decide.
Yay!
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 I do remember watching Double Team though, and again, a rewatch would maybe disprove this, but I remember the sport scenes actually being pretty realistic.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I haven't seen this in probably 20 years, 15 to 20 years. So, because this was one of the first DComs of our generation in the 90s. I know they had some in the 80s also, but I don't
I
count
saw
those.
them on the list and I just scoffed at them.
Yeah, I was like, that was like preseason Disney Channel original movies. So maybe on a rewatch, this isn't as good as I remember it, but I remember it being good, so it made the list.
I'm looking some stuff up about that. I vaguely remember this one.
I remember they had like red basketball jerseys and they were like back to back on the poster, right?
Yeah.
And the one, they're shoulder to shoulder on the one I'm looking at, which is funny. It says identical twins. I mean, on the they're definitely not identical on the.
Yeah, but Nate, identical twins sell better. Everyone knows that.
Yeah. Use your fucking imagination. Jesus.
Oh, they do look the same.
When you don't look, they look the same. So my
class.
most underrated, and I don't want to talk to bury the lead too much because it's going to come up here in a second. My protein shake. Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire. So Disney Plus does a good job. I don't know if Netflix has done as good of a job, but they have curated their categories. Like there's a seasonal one now, obviously for Halloween.
So good.
Yeah, and this one popped up, and fuck, it was fun to rewatch, dude. And I just don't feel like it's talked about at all, like because Halloweentown and Hocus Pocus, Phantom of the Megaplex, like all these other DComs or Disney Halloween movies get way more love. But this one is really fun. It's a clean hour, 18 minutes or so. You're in and out. It's got everything I want. I'll talk about it a little bit more in Protein Shake, but it doesn't get the love it deserves. And especially around Halloween, check out Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire. Watch it this weekend if you're listening at home, because you will not regret it.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I don't know if it was something on Twitter or maybe in person. But Horns, I know you mentioned it somewhere, and yeah, Miss Thurman wanted to watch this as well. Yeah. I think she was really into it.
It's a blast.
And how cool is this? I'm just looking at this online, but this is like perfect timing for this to come out. It released on October 13th, 2000, which was Friday the 13th in October.
God.
That's amazing.
In the year 2000.
That right there, I know Geiger's not with us tonight, but that right there is Geiger's wet dream. A Halloween movie coming out not only in October, but on Friday the 13th.
That's amazing.
God, they see, that's the thing. Disney Channel knew not only their demographic, but they knew how to market.
It's like in Thor: The Dark World, when the convergence happens, all the planets literally align. That's what happened for Disney Channel.
That's funny.
I had one honorable mention. I don't have much to say about it, but The Other Me with Andrew Lawrence, where like his sock takes like sweat from him and ends up cloning himself on accident. Really stupid movie, but I always loved that one. And I always would think like, if I cloned myself, how cool would it be that I only had to go to half of the school year because the other me could do the other half.
Or the other half could do all of it and I don't have to go to school.
Yeah, but is that fair to us, you know?
Andy Lawrence.
You know what? Fuck me.
Go back.
God, the Lawrence brothers were so hot until they weren't.
Yeah.
Although, I know we're going to go off on a tangent here, but that show Melissa and Joey with Joey Lawrence?
No, we're not going to go off on a tangent because I have fucking nothing to say about that show.
100%. We're going to go off a tangent.
Like, I hate to bring it up because I know you guys have so much to say.
All right, well, back to this. Anything else we want to talk about?
So I actually created a game around the DComs, but before we get to that, do you guys have any closing thoughts on the Disney Channel original movies? I know we said a lot off the top.
No, just glad we did this. Like I said, I'm keeping a running tally of ones I need to go back and rewatch now.
I think there's a whole lot more we can do with the Disney Channel original movies in terms of a chess day. So if you have ideas at home, comment below. But there's certainly more potential here. Maybe even if it's just as simple as a bro v bro.
The best part about this, Cheetah Girls was never mentioned, and thank God, because I don't fucking like them.
It's a good
Well,
way
then
to
that should have
test.
been on. Well, never mind. That shouldn't have been on any of yours.
It doesn't.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not overrated because I don't
Yeah.
think people generally like them as that
Yeah,
much.
So.
Even
Good
the people in the Cheetah Girls are like, it wasn't. It was a.
Yeah, even Raven is like, yeah, they fucking suck.
So, guys, I created a game called Horns or Mouse, where I'm going to read you the plot synopsis to a movie, and you tell me whether it's something Jeff Hornacek just made up from his fucking brain, or if it's something that the mouse, aka Disney, made up as a Disney Channel original movie plot.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, so it's called Horns or Mouse. And yes, I was partially drunk when I wrote these down. There are 7 of these. I'll keep score at home. Here's your first movie. The plot synopsis is, a teen enlists the help of an imaginary friend named Larry Houdini to deal with a prank-playing boogeyman who's framing her for his dastardly deeds.
Mouse.
What was that ding?
I just got a text message.
Oh, that timed perfectly.
No, that doesn't mean he was correct. I just got a text message.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was really... Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, I'm gonna double down and go mouse too.
You are both correct, Mouse. That is the movie Don't Look Under the Bed from 1999.
Yes.
Larry Houdini.
Larry Houdini.
And also, I shuffled the order of these, so it could be one of these could have a 4 in a row. Who knows?
Okay, all right.
Number 2. 2 long-lost twins find each other when a scavenger hunt takes one of them cross-country looking for buried treasure, only to discover that the real treasure is their special bond.
That's Horns.
Yeah, that's Horns.
All right, you're right. That is Horns.
That was a good description, though.
Yeah, that was
Thank
good.
you.
You
Yeah, that
almost
was
had me
solid.
because they did Parent Trap 2 and Parent Trap 3, and I was like, fuck, it could
Obviously,
be one
yeah.
of those.
Parent Trap popped into my head, and I was like, that doesn't sound like one. I think he's trying to fool us.
I think these next ones, though, that was like a good warm-up. All right, that's the layup line. Now
Here we
we just did the jump ball, and the other team's in a 1-3-1 half-court trap because it's about to get real.
Okay.
All right, number 3. Yeah, boxing 1 on Nate. Don't let him touch the ball. A California teenager learns that she is the reincarnation of a legendary female warrior destined to protect the world.
Horns.
Hold on. He's not. I mean, you're trying to think like through the Disney movies now. Just to try and get a lead, I'm going to go mouse.
Nate, you are correct. It is Mouse. That is a movie called Wendy Wu, Homecoming Warrior from 2006, starring
That's not
Brenda
real.
Song.
That's not real.
Yeah.
You said it.
Let's
All right, here we
go.
go. So it is 3-2. Nate leads Brian Banner. Number 4. An experiment makes 2 inventors younger and younger and younger.
Horns. That's Benjamin Button.
That's not, but I'm going to go Horns too.
It is Mouse. There's a movie called The Poof Point from 2001, starring Taj Mori from Smart Guy. How many fucking geniuses is he going to play?
Damn.
All right, so it's still 3-2, Nate.
All right,
3
here we
left.
go.
Number 5. An errant father connects with his distant son when he gets turned into a lovable guinea pig.
Mouse.
I feel like this is Horns.
What is it?
It is Horns. Banner.
Oh, that sounded familiar for some
Yes!
reason.
That was a really good one because that totally, like, Disney's about to call you and be like, hey, can we have
I
that
know.
idea?
I was tinkering with what he got turned into for like 15
Why
minutes.
did that sound familiar? That's
I
weird.
just think because I learned how they write the synopses and I've like added.
You just caught. It's like a Mad Lib.
It really is.
It's fucking plugging shit in.
The funny cat sat on the Andy
That's
and Angela Mad Lib.
Yeah.
All right, 3-3. We got 2 more. Number 6. A family vacation turns into a smorgasbord of laughs when the Featherstons realize that not only is the cabin they're staying at off the beaten path, its upstairs tenant is none other than Sasquatch.
Mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
That's Horns.
Oh,
Damn!
God.
Wow!
I need help, guys.
That's awesome, dude.
I was worried it was.
Man. No? Okay.
That would be a funny movie to watch, though, right?
I'd watch it.
Oh, for sure.
Sasquatch has the Airbnb upstairs.
Harry and the Hendersons vibe?
Right. I picture like him coming out the shower, like, sorry, there's no fresh towels.
Yeah. You're probably going to throw this one away after what I did to it.
All right, tied at 3.
I want to go in there.
God damn.
One.
All right.
Last one here. Again, to break the tie. A teen uses a holograph to create a pop star for his friend's band.
Mouse.
Just so I can go for the win, horns.
It is Mouse.
Oh.
It is the movie Pixel Perfect from 2004.
I saw that while I was scrolling through the movies earlier today.
Yeah,
I did not, but I just played the odds.
Yeah.
All right. Good job to both of you. Banner narrowly squeaks it out 4-3. And
so since I won, that means Smart House is a good movie, right?
Nope.
No one agreed. Well, you didn't cover the spread, which is all we care about.
God.
Yeah, it was 1.5. So
yeah,
one off.
Not even a front door cover by Nate.
Yeah,
we'll be safe there. All right, that brings us to the second part of our show, which is our protein shake, where we go around and talk about what's in our cup, also known as what have we watched lately. So I have really 3 things, and Banner, I know the one you and I want to talk about a little bit at the end. Because one is Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire, which I don't have much else to say about. How much do you guys have?
I've got like 4.5.
I've got 2.
All right, Nate, why don't you go first? I'm going to use the facilities, and I will be back shortly.
Okay. Yeah, I've got it's like 4.5. It's tough to say because one of them won't talk about much, and then another one is something else. But Fargo season 4.
You've been trying to get me on this. Sell me.
Have you watched any of the Fargos?
Nope.
Here's my pitch. They're great.
Fair enough.
There we go. No, but seriously, probably one of my favorite series.
Now, is that recency bias? Why it's your favorite, or legitimately you think it would hold up against some of the greats?
I think it would definitely hold up against some of the greats. And one of the things that draws me to it, and it's kind of like it's like True Detective. It's an anthology, but there are tie-ins to other seasons, which is like one of those little dick ticklers that you don't really think about, but like you're like, oh, that's actually I like that. Like it's completely different. They stand alone, but for the fans, you can connect the dots. And in season 1 or 2, I can't remember. There's a tie-in to the actual Fargo movie from the '90s. So it's great.
Which one is Ewan McGregor in?
3.
Okay.
3. But we're in season 4 right now. I don't want to rank them seasons. I would if season 4 was over. Season 4 so far, which is what I've been watching, I'll talk about. But Chris Rock is in it. It's in Kansas City in the 50s, I think. Very interesting concept. It starts out going through like the changing of powers and like the Irish came over and they faced off against, I think, kind of just like the Americans that were there, and then the Irish took over, and then the Italians came in and they kind of exchanged, and then the Italians and now the African American population, they're kind of like the leading powers in Kansas City, and they're kind of like butting heads. But there's a lot of interesting things that are tied in, and Chris Rock does a phenomenal job in it.
How much do you have to pay attention to this?
Quite a bit.
Quite a bit. Is it like Westworld True Detective pay attention to?
No. Nothing's like True Detective, though.
No.
It's like Breaking Bad pay attention to?
Yeah, I would compare it to Breaking Bad. You need to pay attention, but you can follow along. And the weird thing is just, Timothy Olyphant is in it. He comes in like episode 3 or 4. Love Timothy Olyphant, so that was an added bonus having him in there.
Cock tease because he's going to be in The Mandalorian, which we'll all have to review here in about a week.
100. So
Nate,
Fargo, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm sorry if you touched on this, but I'm excited to see Chris Rock in this role because he is in the, not a spin-off, it's like a continuation of the Saw franchise that he actually wrote the script for called Spiral. that comes out next year. So he's sort of veering into more serious roles, and I think it might work for him, surprisingly.
Where the fuck has he been the last 10 years?
Chilling.
Trying to distance himself from Adam Sandler, probably.
He's just...
But yeah, Chris Rock does a phenomenal job in this. There's a lot of other solid actors in this that I don't know their names and don't care to look up right now. But you can look it up on your own if you want to sometime. Yeah, Chris Rock really stands out. He does a phenomenal job as a drama actor. Other thing, just finished last week and the week before, season 2 of The Boys. Phenomenal.
Heard awesome things.
Yep, I know. I don't think either one of you watch it, but highly recommend.
Can't say that I have.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, people who like superheroes. Why would you guys want to watch it?
Yeah, it's weird that you've seen it and we haven't.
I know you guys are bigger into superheroes than I am, but to its point, and I've talked about The Boys season 1 on the pod before. It's a different type of superhero delivery. It's very cool. It's like they monetize them in a different way. It's like a corporate structure, and they own the superheroes and blah blah and all this kind of stuff. So, season 2, they just kept pushing.
Geiger would like it a lot.
Yeah, season 2 keeps pushing the envelope, and like it's super over the top gory, like comically gory, but it's not necessarily a comedy. There's dark, funny moments in it, but overall, season 2 of The Boys maybe better than season 1. I'd probably say that. But yeah, go out and watch that immediately. Another thing I can just touch on for like 2 seconds because I just randomly watched it was Tombstone, just because it's
so fucking good. Check out our commentary on that one.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, that was a great one, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I saw someone mention it on Twitter. I was like, well, now I have to watch it, so turned it on. Dave on FX and Hulu with Lil Dicky. Do either of you watch that?
Have not, but I feel like I should because I love.
Who are you?
I know everything about this is the most Nate of Nate things.
Yeah. This is pretty Nate intensive protein shake here. It's kind of hitting all the points, but like a lot of different genres thrown in that protein shake. So yeah, Dave is fucking just like nuts funny, but it's just like the most ridiculous shit ever. And like Lil Dicky's playing like a character of himself, which I think to a certain degree it is him. And I think I was talking to someone else about this. I don't know if it was one of you two, but his persona is so interesting because he's the most confident, not confident person out there. If you know Lil Dicky or have seen interviews with him or anything, he's obviously a rapper. He does great. He's talented. But like when he's talking, he like is so standoffish. But he's like, I want to be a great rapper, and I know I'm good, but I'm still kind of shy. It's a super weird dynamic for him.
It's weird because I think that's kind of his allure. Is like like if he were to be confident, he kind of loses his appeal. You know?
Isn't it kind of funny how often that happens when these people kind of play alternate versions of themselves in movies and shows, and how well it works?
Yeah, but like the content of the show and like the things they talk about and where they go is just like, I want to say raunchy, which has bad connotations, but it's fucking hilarious where they go with some of the stuff. He has like a whole background like on his dick. I won't give any spoilers for anyone because it's funny that unfolding. But
you've sold me now.
It's hilarious. And then him and his girlfriend have really funny sexual interactions. So I'll just leave it at that. And then the last thing I have on here, which I haven't watched recently, but I am going to, because the ever generous Miss Thurman just surprised me with this Blu-ray recently because we couldn't find anywhere to watch it streaming. But Serendipity, my guilty pleasure. So
yes,
probably watching that John Cusack classic here coming up because it's phenomenal, and I'm not afraid to say it.
And Kate Beckinsale,
of course. And that is my protein shake. So we'll move it on along to someone else.
Solid one. Banner, you only had 2, right?
Yeah, I only got 2.
That's not counting the one we're gonna briefly talk about at the end.
Correct.
All right, why don't you just knock yours out?
All right, so been watching Wolverine and the X-Men. on Disney Plus, the TV show. This is one that I actually have
Animated,
not
right?
animated. Yep, actually haven't watched this before. I'm 4 or 5 episodes into the season. Generally speaking, I think a lot of the X-Men animated stuff is really good. Obviously, the one from the '90s, na 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 na, that is phenomenal. As a kid, I really like X-Men Evolution. Tried to go back and watch that. Absolutely terrible.
Yeah, it's not
Couldn't
good.
do it. Couldn't do it. Saw Wolverine in the X-Men. I said, I'll give it a shot. And this is, I don't want to give anything away, but something happens to Professor Xavier. X-Men break up, and Wolverine brings them back together as the leader.
Interesting.
And how they get there is very interesting, and I'm really digging it so far. Like I said, I'm not too far into it. They're like 25-minute episodes, so like I said, I think I've watched 4 or 5 of them.
For some reason, I thought this was like Wolverine with the young X-Men, but now thinking about it, that might actually be a totally separate show.
I think that's a separate show because this is the X-Men are all older, and like I said, something happens to Professor Xavier, and the team breaks up for like a year and a half.
Damn.
Which is kind of cool how they get them back together and how they explain all of what happens. Pretty cool. Lots of cliffhangers actually at the end of episodes.
Really?
Yeah, this is kind of like early version of binge watching, right? Like Netflix is really good at going, "Hey, this is the end of the episode. Oh, wait, is it? You should watch another one." And that's kind of how this show ends its episodes.
I can't remember. Does Disney Plus have like the automatic play of another episode?
It does.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Because Netflix guilt trips you. Like, are you still watching, or do you have friends?
Yeah, really. I had to think about that. I think the last thing really watched episode-wise was Mandalorian on there.
So yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed it. And then I also watched Nightmare Before Christmas. Even though it's a Christmas movie, we watched it now.
Interesting. You seem to almost be contradicting your own belief, but okay.
Nope. It was because Baby Banner wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
You need to stop blaming things on her.
Yeah, she
I
wins.
don't blame anything on her. I mean, she currently is the sole heir to the pod. Well, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
we
know.
Don't know
what
that.
time it is, so we'll see. So what are your thoughts on it, Jack Skellington?
I mean, I think it's great. I love the movie. I do think it's a Christmas movie. It's about bringing Christmas to a town and showing Christmas spirit to everybody. Personally, a lot of people think it's a Halloween movie, and a lot of people are wrong. Just like how Smart House is a good movie as well.
Okay, so not about Smart House, but Night Before Christmas. Can both factions not be correct?
No.
Can it not be two? Can it not be two things?
We're American. Somebody has to win.
Well, more importantly, everyone has to lose.
Okay.
Banner, I don't think it's crazy to say that Nightmare Before Christmas is Tim Burton's last good movie. It's after Batman Returns, right?
Have you seen 9? He didn't direct that. Never mind. He was just an EP on it. Never mind.
Yeah, I've seen the short film it's based on, but I actually couldn't get through 9, I don't think. Like at that point, you're like, have you seen Frank and Weenie? And I'm like, what are we talking about? You know?
Okay.
When did Nightmare come out?
I want to say 94.
94, 95?
And Batman Returns was 92.
Okay. Well, he did Big Fish.
Yeah, you're right. Big Fish is actually a movie I like. But because it's so un-Tim Burton, I think.
Yeah. When you say Big Fish, I don't think Tim Burton.
Isn't that
which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, what a bit like and backhanded compliment. Like my favorite movie of yours is the one that reminds me least of your movies. Oh.
You know that thing, that identity you strive for? Yeah, I like the one that didn't have that.
What's the Barney Stinson line? I love your glasses. Oh, thank you. Yeah, they really pull all the attention away from that whole nose situation.
Nice little backhanded compliment.
She'll be putty in your hands. Banner, how was the music in it on a rewatch?
It's good. It holds up. It holds up.
What's that? Was it streaming anywhere?
Disney Plus.
Oh, it's okay. I didn't know it was a Disney film. Interesting.
It is.
You got anything else?
Yeah, but I don't remember what it was because I didn't fucking write it down.
Okay.
So no,
Well,
I don't.
I'll run through mine pretty quick. I watched Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Nice.
Caught on the DVR. Guys, it's pretty good. It's a really cool concept. Like, these two stoner dudes in San Dimas, California are about to fail out of high school unless they get 100 on their history project. And this guy from the future brings them a phone booth that can take them anywhere in history and tells them that they need to pass their history project because they actually end up saving the world. So they go back through time and collect all these historical figures, and they're just total fucking idiots. And it's one of Keanu Reeves, if not his first movie. And it's just really fun. And it's actually more intelligent than I remembered. It's not like they're not like total fucking idiots. Like, a lot of the humor is derivative of them like knowing probably more than they should when they go back in time.
Yeah.
So it's just a cool concept for a film. So I really enjoyed it. Another one I watched on the old DVR was Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
All right, you were hyping this up. Sell me now.
What?
So it's based on a book, like an author kind of parodies Pride and Prejudice and throws zombies in it. Same author who did Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Okay.
On the surface,
I'm
read
in.
it and you're laughing and you're like, okay, yeah, this is gonna be a fucking blast. It's so stupid. And then you watch it, and an hour in, I was like on my hands and knees on my elbows, like, this is just really fucking good. It kind of is tongue in cheek, but the way that they historically do it, they treat the zombie apocalypse almost like the Black Plague, and it sort of just ravages England. And Lily James is in it from Yesterday and Baby Driver and Cinderella, who's always good. And it was actually just a really well-made movie with some awesome fighting scenes. Not as stupid as I wanted it to be, but better than I thought it would be. It is pretty long though. It's like 2 hours 15 minutes. The guy Charles.
So do you like whenever you're like, I want this movie to be stupid, and you're like, fuck, this isn't stupid, it's just good. Does that bother you, or do you enjoy that as a pleasant surprise more?
No, I don't like it, but I can't hold it against the movie for being better than I thought it was, you know?
Do you think it's a marketing problem or a movie problem?
I think they got a director who was too capable. He was like, yeah, no, I actually have a pretty good vision for this. And I'm like, fuck, that's cool. Actually, just do that. Because it's a good film. Like 30 minutes in, I was like mad that it wasn't worse, but also enjoying it because it was so good.
It's an interesting turn of events for you.
And the cast, if you're a Game of Thrones fan, which obviously I'm probably the biggest on the pod,
Okay.
Charles Dance, and then the one chick who I think she's Tyrion's Peter Dinklage. Who the fuck is he? John Johnson. She's his mom or some shit. She's in it a lot too.
Wait, hold on. Oh, Lena Headey.
Bingo, nailed it.
Sister.
Yes. Oh, okay. And then Charles Dance, who's something in Game of Thrones.
Hold on, I've got him up right here actually. He's her father in Game of Thrones and Peter Dinklage's father.
Yeah, it's all connected.
All connected.
So Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, too good for its own good. Last thing I watched before Banner and I discussed this briefly was Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire. All I'll say is it's if you're a DCOM fan and you need a good Halloween movie, it's way better than Halloweentown in my opinion, and it's so fun. Go check it out. There is a character in it named Malachi Van Helsing, who is a descendant of the Van Helsings.
Of course.
And he's played by the dad from Lizzie McGuire.
Really?
Okay. All right.
Just a good film. All right, Banner. Tell the people what we watched together, embarrassingly.
I'm not that embarrassed of it.
You're not embarrassed of anything you watch.
No.
It's kind of a problem, actually.
Yeah.
Bachelorette, guys.
Episode 2 of season 16, I believe.
Something like that. 16, 25. I don't know. Something like that. So, what's the dude's name? Yosef?
Yes,
is that his name?
Which, by the way, as we're recording this, he got called out on Instagram today.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna need to hear the juicy details of that when we get off pod. Or on pod, I don't give a fuck.
It's not good podcasting. But what are your thoughts on Yosef?
Yosef is.
I hate Yosef, but he's not wrong.
Yeah, that's the thing. Here's the thing. You're going on The Bachelorette, right? You know what you're gonna get into. You know exactly what's gonna happen. So don't go on there and then start fucking bitching about what's happening.
What was he bitching about?
Claire had this dodgeball competition that the guys competed in, and it was basically like strip dodgeball. Like every time you lost a game, you would take an article of clothing off.
Mm-hmm.
And Yosef kind of got up on his high horse and said, well, I'm a father, this is demeaning, and this isn't actually about finding love. I'm above this. And I get it, because Claire then turns the other cheek and says, well, she sent a guy home because he didn't know enough about her personality or her from the previous show. And I'm like, well, do you want to see dudes' dicks? Or do you want to have deep, in-depth conversations? Like,
which one is it? Make a decision.
Because it can't be the cock and balls and then also the therapy couch at the same time. But I hate Yosef also, so it's kind of hard for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, dude, you're going on a fucking reality dating show, all right? Get the fuck over yourself. You've obviously done something wrong to be 35 and aren't with somebody, so you have to go on a dating show with another chick who just wants it. Okay? Claire, I got so many fucking problems with this bitch. Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, I was going to say, I only have one other comment before my last thing I want to say about Blake. But Brandon, the guy who got sent home, Nate, you would have loved this. He sits down with the chick, and he's like, when I found out you were the Bachelorette, I knew I had to be on the show. And she goes, oh, okay, so, what do you know about me? And he was like, so tell me a little bit about yourself.
Wait, hold up.
And I just wrote down, Brandon, bro, you got to at least read the back of her baseball card. You got to know, just one fucking, where are you from? Or, something. And he got axed almost immediately.
Of course.
Instantaneously.
He had this whole build-up, oh, I know so much about you, that's why I want to be on here, and I'm a liar. I know nothing. These
guys have had to quarantine for 2 weeks, and you don't have, one fucking, a short one-sentence bio of hers you can at least fucking hang your hat on? I don't know. It seems like no prep work was done at all.
She hit 250 junior year in softball. I don't know.
Right.
Hey, you're going to be on the show, and this is the chick that you're going to be dating along with 32 other guys. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll pay attention to that, and I'll read that.
And again, you don't need a 10-page scouting report, but, no fucking one thing about her. All this chick wants to do is talk about herself, and you can't play into that. He had to go.
You're done, son.
Does she not, and maybe it's just me, but she wants everything to be a moment, right?
Yes, everything. You can't have, she wants to skip, and this is understandable because she's 39, but she wants to skip the first 18 months of dating and get straight to what's your deepest, darkest secret? Let me meet your parents and let's cry together at a campfire. You have to earn those moments. There's a great line in 500 Days of Summer, obviously the best film of all time.
Well,
possibly. Check out our top 100 list coming at the end of the year. But there's a scene where Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character says about Summer, when she's opening up to him, Tom knew that these stories had to be earned. That's not a case with Claire. She's about to die. She needs to skip to the end.
Whoa, 39, about to die. Which may be her viewpoint. I don't know. Sounds like this bitch is kind of like, I can't remember her name, but Banner you may know from Love is Blind, the blonde chick.
Oh, God.
Jessica?
Jessica.
Yes, Jessica.
Yeah. Did you know that she threw a watch party with her new current boyfriend when that aired?
Jesus, she was a fucking shit show.
It's the definition of vain.
Yeah.
Banner, I only had one other thing. If you have anything else you want to add.
I don't think I have much else. Other than that one-on-one date she had where, hey, we're gonna write down all our insecurities and what people have said about us.
Tell me where you buried the body of the guy.
Look, I've been married for 8 years now. We've been together for 11 years, and I don't think we've ever wrote down what people have said about us. Because at the end of the day, does it fucking matter?
Wait, wrote down what people said about us?
They wrote down if people had to describe your biggest flaws, and they wrote them on this brick so that they could then metaphorically smash them. It was so fucking contrived. It was like, even for The Bachelorette, which is a low bar to clear, it was below it. It was like a really bad team building exercise that like a corporate retreat would hire some like third party to come in and put on.
Pay him $100,000 to come in and teach you some stupid theory or something stupid.
But they bring you bagged lunches for the day, so they kind of
turkey Sammy.
You can keep the lunch in-house, which is good.
Yeah.
No one wants a break from this.
Exactly. Ever. Hey, we're bringing lunch in for you guys. That just means we have to work more. Fuck off.
God damn, we all
I get what you're doing.
Here's my only beef with that is they only brought chocolate chip cookies. There's no oatmeal raisin, no macadamia nut. There's no variety in the cookies.
I just named two of my favorite alternate cookies.
You want oatmeal chocolate chip.
Banner, the only other thing I wanted to add, so the guy Blake, the bearded dude who like loses the dodgeball game and then still breaks the rules, and he's a chicken shit. Like, he's basically like the kid, and as a dad, and your daughter's adorable, but kids will see what boundaries they can push and get away with.
That's exactly him.
And he's being handsomely rewarded for not honoring those boundaries, which seems just insane. Like, I understand that it's like Claire wants to feel like people want to talk to her, but at this point, the guys are at the point where they're about to be like, if there's no rules, we're not here to, that's not going to make us compete harder. We're just going to be like, fuck you. Yeah. She keeps moving the goalposts.
She still wants that dude's dick, like, hard, right?
Yeah, and I think next episode that's going to come to a head, pun intended.
Okay. Just making sure.
All right, anything else you want to add, or do you have a question that you want
to... Excuse me.
Try again.
You lit, bruh?
Well, that was aggressive. That brings us to our question and answer segment, our Do You Even Lift Bruh, where we ask a question that we leave you with for the episode. Today's question, sponsored by Walmart. So Walmart has this thing where they tend to skip Thanksgiving altogether in terms of their store decorum. So now that Halloween is coming to an end or about to pass, they will basically tell Thanksgiving to go fuck itself and go straight to the Christmas decorations. And it has me thinking about gifts that we could potentially ask for the holiday season. So let's get ourselves a gift tonight, guys. And the question is, if you could give yourself the gift of seeing any movie again for the first time, basically like Men in Black flashy thing in your mind before you went in to go see it, what movie would that be and why? Nate, not to put you on the spot, I hope you had time to prepare, but what movie would you see again in present day, but your mind and your emotions are, it's completely new to you for the first time again?
So I had been thinking about this for a while, and a couple things have popped into my mind, but nothing really solidified literally until like the last 30 seconds. I said, yep, that's it. Now, I know what Horns is, and it is also would be a top 3 for this decision of mine. But I think to put up to the top, and it's funny because it's not something that you would see as a new movie and have some revelation and, oh man, that's great cinematography. Oh man, that's a great storyline and all this. It would probably be Wedding Crashers. Just so I could see all the jokes that have still been funny for the past 15 years and that we've overly quoted, fresh and new. I can't even imagine how hard I laughed the first time I watched that movie, because I know we've had, I mean, it's been mentioned on the pod plenty of times. It's one of my favorite, just legit movies, not just comedies. And I can watch it over and over again. So I can only imagine. I'm laughing just thinking about laughing at
the scene when Vince Vaughn gets sacked in the flag football scene. He's just laying there, and Owen Wilson goes, "It's touch football. Every time I go over, you're laying on your ass."
It's oh my god, it is. I mean, it's still so great. So I can only imagine. Obviously, Shawshank would probably be up there, and some other ones were oh shit, that was. Oh my god, that was a really great written movie, and there's so much to it and so much depth. But legitimately, Wedding Crashers, just to see the jokes and hear the jokes for the first time ever, because there are things in there and ways they presented jokes and Vince Vaughn's delivery that I'd never heard before, and it's amazing to see.
We'll have to do a pod on this at some point, but I think, and Nate, you and I have had this discussion. ad nauseum, and we've tried to play devil's advocate, but we just can't, because I think that might be the best comedic performance I've ever seen, is Vince Vaughn in Wedding Crashers.
It's tough to beat.
Yeah. I'm definitely not going to argue against it. I would not want to play.
We've gone through like the classics, and I'm like, I think it's better. It's more nuanced and it's more specific to his like skill set than anything else I've seen. Jim Carrey is the only thing that comes close in a few of his films.
Yeah, and
like Liar Liar maybe,
or like Ace Ventura.
Or Ace Ventura.
Yeah, Liar Liar is up there. Ace Ventura is good. And Ace Ventura is a great movie. I think that would be. His performance is a little over the top for me to consider like one of the greatest. It's good, but
for sure.
But yeah, Vince Vaughn, because it's the nuances, it's his delivery. It's like him actually shaping the dialogue and shaping the lines and making it fucking hilarious.
Yeah, like what's on the page is only like a small fraction of.
Oh, for him, yeah,
it's like 100%.
Like how fast he says it, his pauses, his little all that stuff. But yeah, that would probably be mine, and I would love to be able to like experience those jokes for the first time ever.
I know.
Again.
That's a good one. Banner, how about you? If you could rewatch a movie or watch a movie again, but basically like it's the first time you're seeing it, what would you pick and why?
Super easy for me. I have always been extremely jealous of Uncle Banner and his generation of them getting the reveal of Luke, I am your father. There will never be a reveal ever again that's like that, and with the internet you can't keep secrets like they could back then. I wish I could go to a theater, watch Empire Strikes Back on a big screen, not knowing anything about the prequels, the sequel trilogy, Return of the Jedi. All I have in my brain is A New Hope, and you go into Empire Strikes Back, watch it, and then hear that bombshell of Luke, I am your father, and going, what the fuck did he just say?
Yeah.
That is something that I personally don't think I will ever experience. And I would love to.
That's a very good point. Like something, you don't even like think about. Like probably the first time that I had a conscious watching of that movie, I probably already knew that.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It had permeated
our generation. Culture. We grew up. Luke, I am your father, or I am your father. That was like a saying. That's something that people said, and you don't understand it. But then you see the movie, and you're like, "Oh, it all comes together. I understand now," and you connect the dots.
Brian,
you can't have that aha.
You're kind of blowing my mind, like mentioning this, because it's not something like you've thought about, but like probably a lot of people in our generation have thought about. Well,
apparently, I am an idiot because Smart House is a good movie.
In that aspect, yeah, for
You're
sure.
Embarrassing yourself.
But there's different types. There's different types of geniuses. But yeah, probably a lot of people haven't even like realized like, oh, they watched that, and going into it, they knew that line, they've heard that line, and like the actual experience of like reliving that for the first time and not knowing that would be like a whole game changer of that movie. It's a very good point.
Yeah, I can't even. And at the time, I wonder if people realized, there's no way they did, but like how monumental on not only like movies in general, but pop culture that scene in that line would be.
Well,
there's.
Go ahead.
Nobody knew what that was and what it was going to be for the next 50, 60, 70, 100, 200 years.
I do kind of miss the day where like you could go see a movie and there was no internet to fucking spoil it for you way in advance, you know?
Yeah, it was only kids in the bathroom.
Fucking, I swear to God, if I ever find those kids again.
That's awesome. Great answer, Banner.
Thank you.
I had two. One is the original Saw movie, just because pound for pound for me, greatest twist, greatest score in the last 30 seconds of any movie I've ever seen. I remember watching it with Cycly and just audibly saying in the theater was like empty, which was us, and I go, what the fuck, when the twist happens. And the shwa-na-na, na-na-na-na-na-na-na, one of the most iconic horror scores of all time, up there with Halloween.
I was going to say, it might be the second best behind Halloween.
I still get shivers thinking about it. And then if you haven't seen the movie, highly recommend it. But when the twist thing happens, just with my hands behind my head, like, holy shit. I was thinking maybe that, the whole time, but now that I'm actually seeing it, my God.
Yeah.
And then another one that I know Nate mentioned he was on the same page with was The
Yes.
Dark Knight. Simply because obviously we knew that Heath Ledger had passed away, but walking into the theater, I had incredibly high expectations for that performance of his, and they were still blown away.
So much. Yeah, it went above my expectations, which is insane.
I mean, it was like watching, I don't even fucking know, like Jordan play against 5-year-olds.
Yeah.
It just like was the coolest movie. I remember seeing the movie at midnight because back then, like midnight showings were legitimately like midnight the
Yeah,
Thursday
midnight showings weren't Thursday at
at
6.
6. Yeah. And when I left, I was as wired as I've ever been just because that performance was so electric and like just impassioned that I was like, fuck, dude, I might have just fallen in love with movies tonight if I wasn't in love with them before. It was just the greatest thing I've ever seen. And I still think that or Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood, we could have that debate another day. But I mean, Heath Ledger literally left it all on the field there. And it's tragic that we lost him after that. But I mean, talk about going out on top of your game. Like, God damn it.
Yeah. Like insane. Yeah. And yeah, obviously that was the one that I mentioned I had passed through my brain. And for that reason specifically, I mean, overall it's just a great movie. But yes, his performance, I mean, people talk about that to the end of time as one of the greatest performances ever, period.
And getting to see it again for the first time without knowing what I was in for would be, oh my God, just like
Yeah.
an awesome experience. All right,
Those are all great, great movies to go back and rewatch.
That was a great do you even lift? That was good. That's a good question. That was a good
this
one.
is I think the theme of this whole episode is go back and give stuff a rewatch. Whether you like it more or less, I think it's worth giving it a poke.
And for the do you even lift, bruh, like have your spouse or someone hit you over the head so maybe you don't remember it and then watch it. I don't know. Yeah, I think
Or
that's
drink Jägermeister. That's always helped me
yeah.
forget things.
Jaeger.
Yeah, 151.
All right, before we leave the people for episode 131, Nate, do you have any words of wisdom you want to pass along to all the kids out there or the adults?
Yeah, I've got a cheers that I'd like to give out to everyone. It's a simple one, but it's a good one to throw out at any party. So, just words of wisdom here. You can use this as a toast. Go ahead.
No? Okay, go ahead. It's kind of
You can
my...
use this at a toast at your next party. Here is to the storks who bring all the pretty babies. Here's to the crows who bring all the ugly babies. And here is to the swallows who bring no babies.
It's pretty good.
You're welcome.
It's almost as good as my toast that I traditionally do.
That's not where I was going yet.
That's what I thought you were going to go.
Jeb was like, we're about to fight if you're going there.
Banner, before you do yours, I want to get, and I know I speak for all of us, I want to give a quick cheers and a toast to Matt Geiger tonight, who the second heir to the Broforce Squad throne was just born, I believe, minutes ago.
No shit.
Check your text messages.
Oh my God. I was hoping it happened on pod.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what his podcast name will be, but the Broforce Squad family grows by one, and I want it commemorated that we are all very, very excited for Matt Geiger and Mrs. Geiger. And it's exciting times in all of our lives. And I had to say that before yours, Banner, because although yours is very important, I think...
No, mine is not nearly as important as that. But it can tie into this, because what if they were having the baby at home? Pull over for emergency vehicles. You don't know who's in the back of that car.
This morning I pulled over for an emergency vehicle, and even though it was 6:15, I said, Banner, be proud of me right now.
I'm so proud of you.
Although it's sad that that's something we feel like we need a pat on the back for.
I know.
It's like so fucking basic. All right, for the American hero Nate Thurmond and the mad scientist Brian Banner, I'm the mayor Jeff Hornacek, and we are the Broforce Squad podcast. We thank you guys so much for checking us out. Follow us on Twitter at Broforce Squad. If you type in Broforce Squad as 3 separate words into Letterboxd, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, you'll find us all over there. And honestly, the best place to go is just broforcesquad.com for all of our stuff and our squad blog. Until next time, We'll see you at the movies. And remember, especially since Banner walked away from his computer, Smart House fucking sucks.
It's the worst.
Smart House more like blow dick movie.
Smart House more like Dumb Shack.
Fuck yeah, nailed him. Dumb Shack. I don't know why I thought of like Shaquille O'Neal.
Dumb Shack. Yeah.
Dumb Shack. I mean, that'd be a good movie too.
You gotta go pee.
Where is he? No, what he's doing back there.
Great time. Did he walk to the left?